Hey everybody, it's good to see you guys. We got Edward here, Terry, Dad on YouTube. Everybody's here. Critical Pixel. All right. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. So I want to do a first. You guys let me know if you can hear me and everything's going all right. Let me know if there's any issues. Sometimes that happens. So I want to show you a first look of the Revenant. This one came together very quick. Still waiting. Still to be done are the subclasses. A lot of naming and moving some abilities around and wording and stuff. Okay, cool. Appreciate that, you guys. But the core class, the core concept came together mechanically very quickly. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to work out pretty well. I think it's going to be a pretty cool thing. Okay, so I want to do that, and then maybe we can take a look at take another pass at the core rules. Look at the feedback document that Edward and Emma and a few other people have been putting together. And then I want to, I don't know, we'll see how much time we have after that. So let's just get right into it. I'll show you guys the Revenant. So of course, all of the text and flavor stuff and all that, it's still, roughly like we're in the ballpark, but a lot of it's gonna be tweaked and all that sort of stuff. So don't worry too much about the exact text and stuff. Okay, so let's get right into the core of the Revenant class. Cool new custom icon by Vladiv Chmescu. Really cool icon designer. Really appreciate all of his cool icons. Look at that. Isn't that rad? That's super duper cool. Okay, so key stats are will and strength, so opposite of the Oathsworn. Oathsworn is strength and will. But this one is will and strength. The hit die is interesting. The only class to have a 1d4 as their hit die. Okay, so right away, this is sort of makes you think okay, something interesting is happening here. And it is definitely a very unique class. Starting hit points 7. Saves, you have advantage on will saves, because you're too stubborn to die, is sort of the idea. And you have this ghost inside you or something, and you cannot be made fearful all that easily. But your intelligence saves suffer. Armor, you have access to all armor, all mail and plate and all of this, but also shields. The interesting thing is the only weapons they have proficiency with are two-handed melee weapons. The starting gear is rusty mail, a longsword, and a cherished memento. Level 1, you get Undying Might. While above 0 hit points, so while living, add your max HP to all melee attacks you make. Now that alone is incredibly powerful. But you have a maximum of 2 actions. While living, it's a little bit of a nerf, but also while dying, well, it's a bit of a buff. So we're doing some interesting things here. So I talk often of the floor and the ceiling in game design. So having reducing the number of actions, that the more we take away from a class that other classes have, the more we can give back to add to that to add coolness to that class design. So this is sort of the core of the class. You just have 2 actions. You basically ignore dying. Sort of. We'll get to that in a second. But you have a maximum of 2 actions while living and dying. So you have the most powerful single attacks out of any class, but you just have fewer actions. So you're sort of this undead, not strictly speaking undead. So what I'm thinking, as we're getting to this, I want you guys, this is what I want to be thinking about, and if you guys have any feedback, I want to be thinking about what directions do the subclasses take. I think this spooky sort of undead thing where you're inhabited or haunted by this wraith, where it's sort of like this parasitic but also symbiotic relationship kind of thing, sort of like Venom and the dude who is on Venom, or the other way. So I think that is one of the subclasses, but I think each of the subclasses might be like you're inhabited by a different thing. Maybe that's what the subclasses do, but what would it be? What would it be? So someone like Naruto who has this very powerful thing inside, like the Nine Tails inside of him, like that I think he would be a Revenant. I think he would definitely be a Revenant. and then there would be like maybe venom would be. So there would be like different kinds of people, and maybe someone who has like their ancestors inside of them, or just something like what are the different categories of ways we can flavor this? Um, so that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about. Okay. Um, so if you have 7 maximum hit points, let me actually just show you guys some of the math, just so you can sort of see how things shake out. So just showing you guys some of the math. So a D4 hit points. This is how many hit points you're going to have across the level curve. So from 7 to 65 hit points as you're going to be maximum hit points. And with Undying Might, you're going to be dealing. So like with one single attack at level. So let's just take level 20. You're doing as much as other classes. You're doing more with one attack than other classes are going to deal with 2 actions. So if a Revenant can ever be standing next to their to an enemy without having to move, like they are far and away more powerful. But they have all these other drawbacks, very, very low hit points and very low other things, and they have to be a little bit more miserly with their action economy. But on the other hand, most of their abilities, like their Savage Arsenal, like the Berserk has, most of their abilities are passive. So that isn't eating up their action economy. So we're sort of giving it, we're taking and giving. And then here's another column. We'll get to that in just a second. Okay, but they also have otherworldly constitutions. So if you only have 7 hit points, if you only have a D4 hit die, aren't you going to be like dying and racking up wounds way more quickly than other people? Like, do we really want to have this sort of imbalance with like everybody in the party has 1 wound, but I have 5. Like, so I don't know that we want to do that. So what we have is this ability, otherworldly constitution. Whenever you roll a hit die to recover hit points, you may instead recover that many wounds. So they drop to 0 the easiest out of anybody, at least at level 1. But also you can recover from wounds after combat's over much more easily than others. Okay, at level 2 you get a spectral form. I was calling it wraith form, but I don't. Maybe like a wraith is going to be one of the subclasses. So wraith form, while dying, you don't make strength saves to attack, and I should probably say gain hate. In this document is in the Hive Dropbox. So if you guys want to look at it at your own pace, you definitely can. You gain access to the hate ability. So while you're living, you are incredibly powerful melee. While you're dying, while you're in the spectral form, you have this very powerful ranged attack. Range 8, 1d8 plus will plus wounds damage, and it ignores armor by default. In every 5th level, you deal plus wounds damage. So like if you have 1 wound, you're going to be dealing, plus 1 damage, so 1d8 plus will plus wound, okay? If you have 5 wounds, you're going to be dealing 5 additional damage for every single attack. And then as you get to level, this should be 3x, I believe. As you get to level 20, I think you're dealing 5 times your wounds. So if you have 5 wounds, you'll be dealing 25 additional damage on every attack. So that is at the extreme. So generally, you want to probably stay within like 1 or 2 or 3 wounds. But you can like push closer and closer to that edge to like greatly increase the amount of damage that you're doing. So it ignores armor by default, but only in this form. And again, you only have a very, very limited number of actions. So the cool thing is that while you're living, so your living form is your higher DPS form, your higher damaging form. But while you're dying, you can attack more safely and at range. So you're more likely to get off both attacks. Okay, and this is how. So you deal a little bit less damage, but you have more utility, more flexibility, and you're able to do other things. So I think that is needed. That is necessary. You have to be dealing more damage while you're living. Otherwise, you incentivize people to like not heal. I'll just stay at 0 hit points. It's not good for me to have hit points. So you want this living form to deal most of the damage, so that everybody's incentive is always to have like. Having more hit points is always good. A critical hit is always good. Rolling high is always good. So like we always want to have these things so you have some consistency in your mind. So dealing 11, so it's not always going to be 5 wounds. So if we change this to like maybe a more reasonable 2 wounds, so you're dealing 8 damage on average, whereas someone with like a flame dart is going to be dealing 6 damage. So you're dealing a bit more damage than average for your one action. but you have fewer actions to work with. So that is where things compensate. So with just 2 wounds, you're dealing 19 damage at level 20. But if you're able to get up to 5 wounds, or if you have anything else that increase your maximum wounds, then you can really start pumping out a lot of damage. And the closer and closer you push it to that extreme. And again, it ignores armor as well, which is very, very powerful. Okay, so flavors free. What is your spectral form? And I think this is going to develop a little bit more. Maybe we'll remove this once we have the subclasses. Is it your own stubborn will? Is it an evil possessing creature or something you've made a bargain with? I think that kind of thing could be cool. An ancestor or other friendly being. So these are some things that I'm thinking about. So let's see what thoughts you guys have so far. Tabletop Bro, hey, you guys, if you haven't seen Tabletop Bro's new video, you got to check it out. Let me put a link in the chat. That I did want to put that in there too. Really cool. Really appreciate the analysis and take a look at the Monsters More book. Let me go and paste that. There you go. Check out Tabletop Bros new video. Solid video. Not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored, I guess. Yeah. So solid video. So yeah. Really cool stuff. So let's see what we got, what comments we have so far. Ghosts, hags, fiend, angels, rogue, magical AIs. The magical AIs. Hey, Jeff. All right. Anti-paladin. Not so much anti-paladin. Not so much anti-paladin, but maybe. So not super squishy. So they're just squishy in a different way. Yeah, they're squishy in a different way, and they can actually be like in their own weird way, like way more survivable, but it just looks very different how they survive. Being of raw emotion, yeah, all id, no ego. Me piloted by the ghost with unfinished wishes, yeah. Ghost touch. Eddie Brock. Eddie, yeah, there we go. Eddie. Yeah. Naruto, yeah. Hey, Center, good to see you, man. Venom would be Cosmic Core. Yeah. All right, so yeah, let's open up. Let's open up the notes, and maybe we can. Where's my notes? Maybe we can start taking some notes of different subclasses for El Revenanto. That's how you say Revenant in Spanish. All right, so Cosmic Horror, Venom. I'll just say 9 tails. I know what I'm talking about. What other fiend or angel? I don't know if there's any pop cultural references for that. Just like a wraith / ghost, spooky. I think those are pretty solid categories. What would they look like? I'm not sure. Wraith, ghost, ancestor, maybe. Oh yeah, it definitely has a very, very different flavor. I would not worry at all about these being confused at all. Pure rage, not strictly a being, but rather unfinished business turned to 11. Person is so angry is will die. I think that might be more of a berserker thing. I can think about that though. This is more like something else. Something else is keeping you here. Can I make the crow? Ooh, the crow. Yeah. Joe, man, give me some bullet points about the crow. I think I saw the movie like 20, 30 years ago. What does the crow do? Yeah, all the names and everything is going to change and tweak and stuff, but the ideas are there. The ideas are there. So is it going to be 8? Is it going to be laser eyes or whatever? We'll work on the name later. Oh. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Otherworldly Constitution apply to other source of hit die based healing like Hexbinder spell. I could spend one, combine one with the Hexbinder. I would just read the wording. Uh, let's see. Whenever you roll a hit die to recover hit points, so probably not if I were to guess. What is the Hexbinder healing spell? Let's open it up. Life Bloom, consume one of your own hit dice and one more from heal target. So I don't think so because the Hexbinder would be rolling your hit die. So as worded, no. Should that be something that's open to cool combos? Whenever your hit dice are rolled to recover hit points. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think we tweak that. I love cool combos. Yeah, that's not sponsored. But so now I feel like making a character. All right. It's my first sentence episode yesterday. One of his groups. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Yeah, no, thank you so much. Thank you so much, bro. For the shout out, man. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the encouragement. Like, it you know it really means a lot, like to hear people like reading this and like enjoying it, and like, hey, this is just what I was looking for, and like a lot of time and effort goes into all of this, and like thinking about it, and I wake up often, uh, like, oh, here's an idea, I have to write it down before I forget. So there's a lot of math and a lot of ideas and a lot of writing and effort and thought that goes into all of these. So it is really cool to see people enjoying it. It's scratching that itch. So I really appreciate it. And bro, if you ever have any constructive criticism or anything not positive, feel free to let me know, man. We'll make some tweaks. We'll make improvements. Chances are, if a Revenant starts dying, they'll be within melee distance of a foe. Can we change hate to a reach or give movement ability? So yeah, there are different abilities. So, hey, when you drop to 0, you can do this. When you could do that. So there's a lot of different things you can get, you can unlock as you go. And all of these things are they're gonna be moved around, and they're sort of just in like an initial arrangement. That all the different abilities are in this is the initial arrangement that could work, but a lot of them are probably gonna get mixed around. Yeah, hey turtle. Yeah, please feel free to like the stream. Doesn't cost you anything. Can't wait to multiclass this and break. Oh yeah. So multiclassing, you can absolutely break everything. In that is incredibly fun for a lot of people. So I'm not gonna take that from you. I like the idea of multiplying wounds for damage, but might slow down combat for the mathematically challenged. It might, but at the same time, like you only have like so many. You only have so many actions, so that might mitigate it a little bit. I'll think about it. I think having. I think it could work. I think it could work. Okay, but that is definitely noted. Haunt feels weird. We haven't even got there yet. All right, Magic Sword. Is it done cutting it? Yeah. Hey. Spawn, yeah. Is Spawn a Revenant? Yeah, I guess Spawn could be a Revenant. Yeah, that would definitely be this one, right? All right, so let's keep going. Then we'll get caught up again. Okay, so level 3 subclass, we'll figure that out later. Level 4, Master of Death, choose a Revenant special ability, and then at level 5, you can wield two-handed weapons in one hand. So you can either gain dual wielding with two-handed weapons, which is just super rad, or you can have a weapon and a shield, so increasing your survivability a good bit. And then you also gain incorporeal. Your spectral form gains you cannot be grappled or restrained, and when you defend, reduce damage to 0 instead. So how much armor you have while you're dying doesn't matter. You can just ignore the effects of an attack. Up here, you can choose another Revenant ability, and then you get deadened nerves. You cannot be crit while dying. So normally, if you get crit while dying, you'll take 3 additional wounds, which is very, very dangerous. But now you can only take a maximum of 2 wounds at a time. So you just can't be crit while dying. Deadened nerves too. Reduce all damage taken by wounds while living. So if you have 5 wounds, the counter ends. You've racked up 5 wounds. Next encounter, every attack that is hitting you, you reduce that by 5. You reduce that by 5. So you don't even have to defend a lot of attacks. So you gain survivability in like these other weird ways that I think is very interesting. Is it going to look exactly like that? Maybe, maybe not. But this is the idea. You have different ways as like the close. So rather than it's an opposite of a death spiral. It is a Jenga tower that the more it leans, the more it wants to right itself. So the closer you are to death, you get like exponentially more difficult to kill, which I think is really really cool. So I don't know what the opposite of death spiral is. A positive feedback loop maybe instead of negative feedback loop. Once per encounter, you can use incorporeal while living also. So you have more time in this one form before you go to this other form. And then you gain immunity to dazed, fear, and effects that would move you or knock you prone. So different cool things. And let's jump down to let's jump down to some of the abilities. We'll take a look at some of the abilities. I'm still waiting on icons for a lot of these here. So that is the core of the class. So it's a fairly simple class. You have these 2 different modes, and you're sort of like playing them off of each other. And I think the subclasses are going to add a lot, and then these abilities. Ghost Step. Well, in spectral form, allies you move through may move with you as long as they end the movement in an unoccupied space. So you have few actions. But when you move, you can like allow other allies to move with you. So like they can you can sort of like I might rename it to like possess ally or something. So like you move through them and like you sort of like drag them along with you, and you move in here and like you drag them with you and you drop them off here, and then you sort of keep going. That kind of thing is cool. This one is probably a pretty dangerous ability. So patient has death 2 actions. Next turn, double your damage and the number of targets for your attacks. So you spend your turn basically doing this, and then on your next turn you can deal not twice as much, but 4 times as much damage if the situation avails itself. So you can deal potentially 4 times as much damage. I definitely want feedback on that because I don't know that I want too many of those kinds of turns where like I'll skip my turn. But at the same time, like that would be a very memorable thing. So I need to think about this one, I think. So this one showing this class is much earlier than I've shown other classes. So just so you know, in case you guys are wondering. Innervating spirit while in wraith form, and there it is, wraith form. We'll say spectral form. Spectral form. Dying allies also have a maximum of 2 actions. Okay, so this is sort of like a party buff ability. Deathly well, when you drop to 0 hit points, use hate immediately for free against the attacker or against all others within reach too. So if you're like surrounded by a bunch of minions or something, they knock you down, you just and you just like just kill all the minions. Super duper cool. Or if someone like sniped you with an arrow, you can just like snipe them right back. Deathly Wail. Possess, I like this one. You may move through enemy spaces while dying. Where is it? So basically the opposite of this. You may force lower level enemies, and I might just combine those 2. You may force lower level enemies to follow you as you move. So you can possess allies or willing allies. Willing allies or enemies. I think we're going to combine those 2. Just looking through again. This is early and raw, but I wanted to get it out there to get some initial thoughts and that kind of thing. So I'm not too worried about wording and those kinds of things so much as like this ability, like this is like an S tier ability. I was only ever always choose this first, or this ability is like terrible. I would never choose this. Like that kind of like very large scale balance stuff is important for me to hear from you guys. Spook. Again, probably come up with a better name for that. Frighten lower level enemies within reach 8. When you move through an enemy space, they are frightened. I think this one got stuck between 2 different drafts. So I think this started out as an AoE frighten, and then it was like, when you move. So I might just leave both of them here and just sort of see. So you can move through an enemy and frighten them, or you can just do an AoE frighten. I'm not sure. We'll have to think about that. Grips of Fear. Deal extra damage or restrain frightened enemies. This one is still in the idea phase. It's not actually an ability yet. I think that's the only one though. Iron Will. If you would miss an attack but haven't dealt damage this round yet, re-roll the attack. Okay, so you can ensure like you have fewer actions, and we want to avoid the null result. You're rolling very high damage, large size damage dice. Ooh, and actually, let me show you guys this. This is something I'm pretty excited about. Um, this is something I'm pretty excited about. Here's the dice tray from the extras box, and then look what we got, guys. We got the nimble dice in. So these are the drafts. The first test, I just got them in from the manufacturer yesterday. But yeah, they're looking pretty good. So this isn't the custom mold yet, but the numbers are big, and so this is actually the D4. They're it's not going to be this. It's not going to be this shape. The D4 is going to be this shape. This cool prismatic shape. Ooh, that sort of disappears there. So they just used a D6 for the mold here, since we're still waiting on the custom molds. I like how big and juicy the numbers are. D8. So I gave them some feedback. Tweak the colors of the ink just a little bit. These are some handsome looking dice. Look at these. These D12s, like they only ever roll good. Let me show you. Let's see if it works. But I was rolling hot. Okay, yeah, that's sort of medium. I was rolling hot earlier. They only ever roll good. They only ever roll good. Only ever. See? Yeah, they only ever roll good. Anyway, I'm pretty excited about the dice. They feel really good. They roll really nicely, and I kind of like this. It's sort of like a piano, like black finish. I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's pretty sweet. Iron Will. If you miss attack, no, you don't. Spirit Shift. Whenever you drop to 0 hit points, you may teleport up to twice your speed away. So you have this choice between different abilities that happen that you could do when you drop to 0, when you change forms. Strong Ties. Whenever you spend hit dice to recover your hit points, you may also heal a number of wounds equal to the number of dice rolled. So this is in combination with the other thing. And if dying when combat ends, recover 1 hit point. So you don't always have to do this. So whenever you spend hit dice to recover hit points, the level 1 ability is you can like heal or you can recover wounds, but this is you get to do both. So you're not sacrificing your hit points for your wounds. So this allows you to be like far more longevitous. Death Walk. On your turn, you may drop to 0 hit points at will without taking a wound. Any remaining hit points are treated as temp HP. I think this is really cool. And if you do it well, you can sort of have like this extra pool of hit points. Like you could just do this and just like have like 65 temp HP. And I don't know if I want this. And it might just be like these are lost at the end of combat if unused. I might do that. Because if we go back to here, so like let's say level 20, you have like 65 hit points. Well, I don't want like the proper way to play this. Well, I have 65 max hit points. I'll take this ability. I'll drop to 0. And I'll have 65 temp HP, and then someone else is going to heal me back up to 65. So now I have 130 hit points. I don't think I want that to happen. This should be something that you can like do in combat, and not just like, oh, this is just the pre-buff that everybody has to do. So I'm thinking about that, but I think this is a cool idea where you can sort of combo them. Oh no, this one. This is a cool idea where you can choose when to go to Wraith form if you want to. Like someone's kiting you or something, you can just go to Wraith form just for free and just like blast them. Or you could trigger your abilities that happen when you drop to 0 hit points without the negative thing. So like as you level up, you get better, just like Naruto. Like as he leveled up, as he went through the thing, like he was able to like better control the thing inside of him. I think that's really cool. My body a puppet. Your unliving corpse follows you and interposes for you for free once per round. This is incredibly powerful. A little bit creepy. A little bit creepy. Incredibly powerful. but just like another interesting way to like really ramp up the survivability. And maybe there's too many different ways for the Revenant to survive. Maybe this guy is going to be like the most tanky class. So a lot of this is this is where playtesting comes in. This is why I wanted to have the classes out at least in draft form fairly early. So I was really prioritizing this, and then like now I'm gonna go back after this. I'm gonna go back and do some of these other things that I've been holding off on. So your unliving corpse follows you and interposes for you for free once per round. I think this is interesting, and it's gonna be like while you're dying, and so you have to. There's certain things you have to have happen. Hunt reaction when damaged while dying. Spend an action for the attacker. And then this is like the second, another possess ability. There's only so many words for possess. Gain 1 wound to possess an adjacent ally until the start of your next turn. Add your max HP as damage to their attacks. But, so like, is that a big buff? That is a huge buff. Like if you team up with a Zephyr or someone else, this is like possibly way too strong. But it's fun to be able to like have something that's way too strong. So maybe this will be like a subclass ability rather than some of these abilities where like, oh, this like these three are the S tier abilities. Like those might become the like the key like subclass abilities. Like you get this if you choose a subclass. So that kind of thing is what I like to do. But this could potentially be just incredibly powerful. So combined with a Zephyr or a cheat or like anything else that can attack a lot very well, but also with a commander who can do a coordinated strike with you to like increase these things. I really love the teamwork aspects of a lot of these things, where you can find these ways to be rewarded many times over for thinking intelligently and using your teamwork and tactics. I really like that. But the drawback is you also take any damage that they take. So so the Zephyr is going to have to like spend his actions to defend, or you're going to take wounds, or someone else is going to have to interpose. So like this is like we're all sort of working together to do this really cool thing, sort of like Voltron or like Power Rangers. I think this is cool. It's probably gonna have to be like a once per encounter thing, otherwise, because I don't want this to happen too often. So it's probably going to be maybe like this the Wraith or Ghost kind of subclass. It's gonna be that ability. Usurp. Move into the space of an enemy. You may gain 1 wound to choose its actions during its next turn. Gain 2 wounds instead if it is your level or higher. So this one might be like the fiend or angel thing. Let's see. Because that feels very much like what they would do. Wraith the Ghost would be possess. That one feels very strong also. Yeah, okay, so that is what we have so far, and there's some additional abilities. Most of them sort of scale. At level 17, you reduce all damage taken by twice the number of wounds you have, so you can reduce all the damage by 10 if you have 5 wounds. And then spectral power, you can use abilities from your living or spectral form without having to be in that form. So you can add your maximum hit points. You can use Undying Might while you're in your spectral form, or you can use Incorporeal, or you can use other abilities even if you're not in that form, which really sort of makes it very powerful. And then level 20, I don't know if this is too good or too bad, but I really like the idea of like at level 1, you and this this thing that's inside of you, this thing that you made this bargain with, are sort of at odds, and then as you level up, you start to learn how to work better and better together. Right, I really like that. Again, like Naruto. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of anime, but that is one anime that I saw. It's pretty cool. I don't know if I'd recommend the whole thing, but like, and then and so they start off as like enemies, and like, oh, why does this happen to me? And then like they're like best buds. I don't know. I really like that kind of those kinds of vibes. Okay, let's see what you guys think. Difference between Warlock and Revenant is formality. Yeah, maybe. Fury, Vengeance, Guardian Angel, Unfinished, Dissatisfied. Ghost Rider, Ooh, is Ghost Rider thing? David, give me some bullet points on Ghost Rider. I didn't realize Ghost Rider was my favorite like superhero or whatever, like growing up. Like before I could read, just like, yeah, Ghost Rider, just because he looked cool. Yeah, so if you give me some bullet points on Ghost Rider, what makes him cool? I mean, he has like the flaming motorcycle and like his head's on fire, which is pretty sweet. The Crow is more about justice and vengeance. Okay. All right, let's write this down. Vengeance. Righting a wrong. Cool. For a loved one. Okay. Good to know. When your die are expended, perhaps. But yeah. Spawn. Yeah, Spawn. That was my brother's favorite comic. Spawn is a character that makes a contract with the Fiend in return to Earth for a chance at redemption. Vengeance has to do the Fiend's bidding. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just show you guys what I'm writing. Maybe like the angel won't want you attacking something that hasn't first attacked you. The Fiend would want you to, I don't know, something. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Encouragement reserve mate. Hey man, I really appreciate it. Creature satisfies the fiction. For example, a ghost subclass would be solar spirit of a being whose business unfinished, while a wraith would be more malicious and malevolent. Perhaps, yeah. Oozling / construct revenant would go so hard. See, like I think I know what that does. What, your hit dice always heal you for the maximum? Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Is that what it is? Increment your hit die 1 step. Yeah, okay. They always heal you for the maximum. Okay, but magical healing always heals you for the minimum. That would be strong, but I think not too strong because of the magical healing rider. Yeah, that would be strong, but I think not necessarily the strongest. Oh, and one thing that I wanted to do was for their out of combat flavor ability should be tied to the spirit thing. So like a fiend could give spicy info, but untrustworthy. So like you can gain access to knowledge that you shouldn't have. But like what kind of knowledge? Well, like the cosmic horror would have this kind of knowledge, the angel would have this kind of knowledge, the fiend could get any kind of knowledge, but yeah, can you really trust it? I think that kind of thing is going to be really, really cool. I think that's pretty sweet. And like if your ancestors could give you knowledge of things that happened long ago. Whenever Revenant D4, yeah. So initially, when I was designing all the classes, I was wording things like this with so that like multiclassing couldn't be abused. But like honestly, if someone was, I think the caveat that is there with multiclassing is fine. And if someone just wants to break things, like go ahead. Like being able to theory craft and mix and match different things to make it optimal really is the fun for a lot of people. And if it's worded in such a way to prevent that, I think that that is stealing some people's fun. Um, yeah, multi-classing is an optional anyway that the GM has to allow. So yeah, we could word it in such a way. We could word it in such a way that that would obviate that. Does Revenant have more wounds than other classes? It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. Tunak, yeah, I am doing well. Thank you so much. Holding two-handed weapon in one hand is an ability I gave it. That's cool. Possessed like being held alive by something. Yeah. Dual wielding two-handed weapons. Shing. Yeah, these 6-foot blades. And you're just like Talion in the Shadow of Mordor / War would be a Revenant of the Wraith variety. Yeah, give me. I've never played that. I've heard good things about the game. Give me some ideas of give me some bullet points of what Talion does. I'm not familiar with it. I think I remember when we were initially doing the notes for this, just like brainstorming for this class, a couple of people mentioned that game. Yeah, eager to see the Revenant. Gravestep, Ghost Step, yeah. Yeah, all the names are going to be tweaked. Yeah. Gravestep it is. And then I think we're going to combine the one where you can move enemies or allies. And I'll reword them because we did have 2 possess abilities. But yeah, the ideas and abilities for this class were flowing in a way that the other classes were much harder. Swamp Thing be a Revenant? Ooh, I don't remember much about the Swamp Thing. What is the green? Wraith Fury, Violence, Alien, Body Horror, and Vampire, Werewolf, something, Blood. Probably not Vampire or Werewolf. Probably not those 2. Could one subclass take a different weapon direction? A lot of these abilities lend themselves to a roguish fantasy, Dishonored vibes. It definitely could. It definitely could. So maybe at level 3, you gain access to the single-handed weapon proficiency or ranged weapon proficiency. That could be cool. That could definitely be cool. Which of these would so this is how I sort of think about it. Ranged or moving. So maybe one of these could be so. Which of these touchstones would be more ranged? Maybe the crow. Is the crow ranged? He had guns. Would the amount of crit damage rolled die matter while you're dying? Would the amount of crit damage / roll die? No, you just take a wound. You take 2 wounds or 3 wounds while dying. So no, you don't have to track your hit points while you're dying. You just track how many times you're damaged. And there was another ability that I wanted to have, where whenever you gain wounds, gain 1 fewer, minimum of 1. Yeah, so that is another thing that we have. Where? And here's another one. So I don't want to give everybody the same. I don't want to give everybody the same, all the same abilities. So I want each subclass or each different player who plays the Revenant to, you can just reduce damage flat, or you are more resilient to wounds, and not necessarily both. Danny Phantom. Yeah, I don't know who that is. But Joe Man, if you have there's a lot more popular culture things out there than I could ever be aware of. and I've got kids, so I don't have time to be watching a lot of TV shows and movies and stuff. Give me some bullet points. What's cool about Danny Phantom? That would be crazy. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Yeah, but also like just giving a berserker an extra action. Like extra actions is very very powerful. Yeah, so this class existing makes those mage spells stronger, and it makes the commander stronger, and it makes a lot of other classes way stronger, and it makes wind spells stronger because you can push the enemies to be adjacent to the revenant. So like there's a lot of really cool teamwork things. Like just this class existing makes a lot of other classes far stronger, and it makes the Oathsworn stronger because the Oathsworn interposing for this low hit point guy means they could spend more of their turns uh, living and dealing more damage and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's like Zephyr abilities that allow you to like move your allies around. Patroness Death is definitely an armor counter. Yep, could be. But also you have the hate. The hate ability is just sort of it ignores armor. So the number is going to be tweaked, and we want to make sure we're not not super duper OP. That it fits within its lane. But it needs to be cool first, and then we can tweak it to be balanced. Use different sorts of ghosts as subclass, wraiths, poltergeist, phantoms. Possibly. I don't know the difference between the difference between all of those different kinds of things. And I do want to like is there enough difference, or is this just a distinction without a difference, right? So I want to be careful about that. Like when I say wraith or poltergeist or ghost, like to me it's like yeah, like a disembodied spirit, like an evil disembodied spirit is sort of what comes to mind. But if someone wanted to play like the Crow or Naruto or Venom, I think that this is that class for it, and they're not necessarily like spirit things. Using teammates for mobility seems key for this, for the way this is currently assigned. Can throw you closer. Yes, it makes assign better. So like yeah, it's a really cool combo class, and this class combos really well with others, and it makes others think about how can I help my allies. But in the right situation, giving a mage an additional action so they can guess dragon form or some other things is like equally, if not more so powerful, right? Deathly Well, does it mean that if an ally drops you to 0, they would not be hit by the whale? Deathly Well, when you drop to 0 points, use hate immediately for free against the attacker or against all others within reach too. Not sure I understand the ability. I don't know why an ally would drop you to 0 points. Maybe it's like an AoE that you're in. So you can choose to either damage everybody around you or whoever attacked you. So if they attacked you, you can choose them if you want to, if you want to do some PvP, but I would pick the other option. Horror instead of spook, yeah. Yeah, spook. Like a lot of the names that I come up with are just like, yeah, just temporary, just so I can like have a name. Horrify. Because all the nomenclature around the abilities. Yeah, I think we can shift the names. So like it's not a wraith form, it's like a spectral form or alternate form or whatever. Like we can tweak things. Innervating Spirit would work along with the Berserker Arsenal. Innervating Spirit. A Berserker Arsenal. The let's see. Let's see. No, it wouldn't. So they both say so. Innervating Spirit. Well, in Spectral Form, dying allies also have a max of 2 actions, and Enduring Rage while dying, you have a max of 2 actions instead of 1. So no, they just do the same thing. So they would overlap, and they wouldn't add on top of each other. They would add on top of each other. Yeah, that's something I'm thinking about. I wanted to add a rider to at least make it more fun. A rider to make it harder, but also more fun. Like as long as you take no damage in the intervening round, on your next turn you can do this big thing, so that it instead of instead of like I don't do anything on my turn, it's like I'm setting this up, everybody protect me so that we can do this really cool thing. So it's not just like I'm not doing anything, then I'm doing something big. It's like we are all working together to this really big thing. So sometimes giving something a restriction like that makes it way more fun than just like giving it away. Yeah, so I'm not sure about that one either. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. It has to be rare. It can't be something that happens like more, too often, I think. It can't be something that happens too often. Yeah, the bunny, hey, yeah, awesome. You're always tweaking, yeah. No, no, no. I gotta ship it. I just gotta ship it. All right. Yeah, nice. Okay, I'm super behind on chat. So let me, nice looking dice. Yeah, big chunky. Yeah, I think I might have them have like the one like engraved but not inked. That's something I'm thinking about. But I kind of like it how it is. I don't know. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about it. I did get that feedback. Possibly. Yeah, new dice smell. Yeah. Deathwalk. Deathwalk is interesting. What does Deathwalk do? It could drop 0. Yeah. It might be, but if those temp HP are lost at the end of combat, then like it's something you have to think about doing. Tempting Death. How's Deathwalk a passive ability? I'm not sure. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just like a free ability. 0 actions. 0 actions. Yeah, and I added that they're lost to them combat if unused. Yeah. Oh, you love it because you can get access to the skills outside of combat. Yeah, that is a cool way. That is a cool thing to do. Yeah, let's test it without that extra rider first and see how it goes. Temp HP and at 0 HP is going to be confusing. Maybe you can soak wounds for every. I don't know what that means, Nixon. But if you have 10 hit points right now, you just drop to 0 and then you just have 10 temp HP. So like you just bank them. So I think that's okay. Temp HP. I really like this since it reminds me of the Undead Warlock from 5e, the Form of Dread. Okay, I'm not familiar with that. Stall Forever. Yeah, if healed might be a little bit better. These are lost if healed. Deathwalk becomes the level 20 ability. So the level 20 ability currently is like you can just use all of your spectral form abilities while living at will. Which is in the weird position of like possibly being too powerful, but also not powerful enough, depending on what the spectral abilities end up being. Let me stop playing with my glasses. Sorry, I'm sure that's loud. What if while you have 10 HP, there's some sort of cap on healing your normal hit points? You can't be healed. Yeah, I think healing is fine. Perfection, yeah. Usurp. You leave its space after its turn. Yeah, probably. So is this like a Death Knight? Yes, it overlaps with a Death Knight a smidge, I think. It's not necessarily like a Death Knight, but it could be a Death Knight. Dash will just make it so that the Revenants are punished for doing things other classes normally do. Possibly. That is one of the concerns that I have. To be fair, Daniel. Yeah, nice beard also. That is one of the concerns that I have. But the question is, what is the alternative? If you don't like that, if you want to play a class that like can assess for free and move around and do a lot of different things on their turn, like maybe a hunter or a cheat might be better. But if you want to like have fewer but more powerful actions, then this is a class you could choose. Or if you have, if there's a party and there's a lot of other classes that can like buff you and help you out, then like you could pick this class because they'll make those classes more powerful and it'll help you. So the alternative is to, just give you 3 actions and then you just, deal an extra, 5 damage on your attacks instead of, extra damage equal to your maximum hit points. But then we lose a little bit of flavor. Then everything sort of just like you want to be careful of like, trimming everything down to where it's completely reasonable and then just widening it out and just sort of like this, low flat gray wall, rather than like, this narrow, cool like skyscraper. Um, so every class breaks the rules in a different way. Um, like the Oathsworn can interpose for free. This one does different things with dying and with actions. And I think that kind of thing is interesting. Like the Shadowmancer gets multiple dudes. Um, the cheat can just change their dice. So every class has their own little cool way of breaking the rules and twisting the game. And the death mechanic in the action economy is something that hasn't had a lot of stuff to work with yet. It may balance even strong, but I fear it will not be fun to play since your options are not only reduced in number, but also the type of actions you should be taking. Not necessarily, but yes. To be fair, Daniel, that is definitely a concern. That is something I want to keep an eye on. If you're into interposing and all this sort of stuff, then maybe it isn't for you. But at the same time, like if you do block, instead of reducing by your armor, like if you do block, like you have the most armor, you can have all the armor out of any class, right? So you can have a shield and plate and a two-handed weapon. So you get all this so that when you do block, at least you're blocking all the damage. All right. So like there are these trade-offs to make blocking way more powerful. Or like if you're in your spectral form or whatever, like you could just ignore all the damage. So there are ways to compensate for this. Is the Revenant the best class at assessing? Maybe not. Maybe one of the subclasses can like assess for free. Like the spirit's always watching, or maybe that's just a core ability that the Revenant gets. You can assess. You could do some of these other things for free. Like maybe we could do that with that without losing the flavor of this. So that is an interesting thing to think about. Normal core of the class is the bodies possessed without consent of it. Was this a follow-up? I'm not sure what that's in reference to. I think it's not necessarily that, but the art would indicate that, maybe. Bargain? Ooh, yeah. So I did want to know, like, rather just Revenant abilities. Maybe it is a bargain. Bargain. I'll just put a question mark there, just so just to remind me that I'm not sure. Judd. Spinning it for bonus damage when usurping. Maybe. So tip HP already does reduce incoming damage. Yeah, hit that like button, you guys. Maybe Ghost doesn't want to be in the body, but it's held by a power magical ritual. Maybe. So like my headcanon was the Ghost is like doesn't want you to die because if you die, then like its host dies. Just like those little moray things, those little suckerfish under like that swim with sharks. Like, if their shark dies, then they have to go find a new shark. And like, yeah, I'm used to this shark. Judd, hey, cause we're gonna be like the guy from Upgrade. I don't know what that is. A RoboCop. Yeah. Spectre also confits a guy possessed by subclass a bit more related to nature, decay of nature. Maybe. I can't think of how nature would inhabit you. I would bind the background to each subclass, maybe. Penance stare? Tell me more about that. I don't remember much about Ghost Rider. Penance stare, incapacitate an enemy as they would experience all the suffering they have caused others. So yeah, celestial, fiend, undead. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, celestial, fiend, undead. We said 4x times as much damage for your patient's death. It doubles, so it doubles your damage, but it also doubles the number of creatures you attack. So if you normally hit one creature for 1 damage, now you'd be hitting 2 creatures for 2 each. So that is quadruple damage, 4 times as much. Tank Group Fury Warrior, Italian, has been possessed by Celebrimbor. And they're both out French. Neat. Spoilers. Could the material cost to resurrect this class be waived? So resurrection in Nimble isn't really a thing. Like there's like an ability that does it. So I want when you die, right? Barring certain rare things that the GM, like if the GM wants to allow it, can, but like it's not within the hands of the heroes, broadly speaking, to resurrect. The green is a collective of life force of all plant life on Earth. There's also the red for animals. I didn't know that. Is this a thing, or is this your lore? The green. The green. The green is a band. Minus band. The green. It is a DC superhero. Is this just a thing in like common parlance, or is this something that is like a DC character? Because that would be cool to have like a naturey revenant, like the spirit of the weed that no matter how many times you kill it, it always comes back. The green and the gray reminds me of the huntsman from Black Culture. Like again, like I'm really happy that this reminds you of other cool things that I've never heard of. It continually surprises me. When a class locks a player to a specific weapon category, it feels like it's locking them out of interesting. Yes and no, because like you have these two-handed weapons, so it could be the reach weapons or the big chonker honker weapons. But also you have this other form that gives you these abilities, and you also have these other abilities that are AoE things. So like it's not really that. It's not really that. So they would just have other ways of interacting with those systems. Make it so with Grave Step, one of the upgrades is you can take enemies as well as allies. Grave Step. Yeah, there were 2 different abilities. I think just having that one is fine. Denny Phantom is a half ghost. He's essentially a superhero with ghost powers, like flying, walking through walls, turning invisible, and he also has a ghostly wail and a chilling touch. Walking through walls would be pretty cool. Maybe too good or too hard to adjudicate. Like your spirit can pass through walls, and then it has to tell you, and like, do you believe what it says? Can I make a Titan walk off a cliff every round? Yeah, we'll cook on those kinds of things. Generally, huge and gargantuan monsters are just immune to forced movement. So the base rule is no. All right, let's see if we could get caught up all the way, and then maybe talk about some of the cool rule changes. Good evening. Hey, good evening. Oh man, you must be on the other side of the world. Good evening. Yeah, good morning. Back to work. Unshackled form releasing. Yeah, maybe. I just show the dice is hard not to change pledge. Yeah, man, they're nice. Oh, and the dice are going to be coming in. I think they're going to be coming in like a really sweet box. So it's not just going to come in like some throwaway like little plastic baggie. Like I really love like cool. I just got some like headphones, like cool boxes that you can like store, like you can store things. So this isn't a great example, but I've got a set of dice from MCDM, and it came in like this cool little like pull out box with like foam, and each of the 3 die were like in its own little thing. I was like, ooh, I talked to my manufacturer and say, hey guys, can we do something like this? MCDM dice. Let me see. Yeah. Let me show you guys this. So they have like they have like, no, this isn't a great example of it. Do they have they have a thing where you can get their dice? Yeah, here's a good example. So like a nice, like really cool thing to like keep the dice in. Yeah, it's nice. Is it more expensive for me? Yes, but is it cooler? Is it better quality? Yeah, it is. So yeah, I think we're gonna do that. It's gonna have like a cool like EVA foam insert where you can like arrange all the dice. It's could be a good sized thing. Um, so it'll be bigger than this since these only have 3 dice in them, and this set will have 12. This set will have 12 dice. Um, yeah, the dice are looking they're really looking nice. And the ones that we have right now, just to show you again, these are just like they're rough, like rough existing mold. But already, let's see if we can focus. It won't. Hmm, hmm. What is it trying to focus on? Is it trying to focus on this? Trying to focus on that? Yeah, what's it? It won't focus. They're blurry. The dice are blurry. Um, but yeah, I'm really pleased with it. And look how big, like even your grandma across the table is going to be able to see that this you rolled a 6. And like a normal 6 looks like that. And this like a red die. But yeah, that's pretty sweet. I mean, yeah, really like the dice. They roll really nicely. Dice are cool, man. If you're trying to keep this concept being a true spirit feel like spectral flesh might be more evocative. You're not a spirit, you're just changing your physical form. Yeah, maybe. How much longer is the late pledge to the Kickstarter? I think at least until the end of July, May. So another month or two. I think another month or two. Alien, ancestor, angel, fiend, ghost. Maybe I think there's gonna be 4. So like maybe angel / fiend. Hey Eve. It's gonna be confusing to be treated as yours. I don't think so. Like it's basically you can turn on your ghost form at will is all it does, and you still have hit points. So if you're damaged, then your hit points go down, but they're just temp HP. Does Revenant have some ability to combat dazed? Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, things that would like knock him prone or knock him dazed. So he has a more resistance against that. So he does have an ability that deals with that. Would they? I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting. So it only yes you can, but you have to go to the Hive. So at the top of the website, there's like, hey, pre-order here. It's there. So if you pre-order the pledge from Hive, the Hive Pledge Manager, then yeah, you'll get access to it right away. It's all in the folder, and you'll get access to the Revenant too. So you can't buy it separately right now, just because it'd be too fiddly for me to keep updating things. But you can get it through Hive. Love this class, nice. Nature themed around fungus networks, maybe. What about something like the Sprint and Stormlight Archive? I don't know much about that. I tried to read, I think The Way of Kings. I was pretty lost. So, is this guy possessed by second spirit? I imagine more of a dead guy who refuses to die, and it's his spirit. That's something we're working on. That's something we're working on. Yeah. Yeah, maybe a story-based subclass. The green. Oh, okay. Okay, the green is a DC thing. All right, so I'm going to try to very quickly. Probably. Yeah, these are not psychic guys. Yeah, these are not psychic guys. John Krause. What is that? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, he's like a misty boy. Oh yeah, that is funny. Can I get mine? And oh, sweet. appreciate a good pun. Anakin Skywalker, Revenant, Elric of Melnibone. Oh yeah, his sword. Yep. Anakin Skywalker. I don't know if Anakin would be a good example of a Revenant or not. Yeah, go to Dark Edward. Yeah, don't get in trouble, man. The host thing from the second Matrix film. It's been too long since I've seen that. I think so. Maybe. Troll Muller dice. Hunter's dice. Always a little bit perfectly readable. Yeah, so this guy's definitely not a spellcaster, I don't think. Just thought about the twins from Matrix 2. I don't remember the twins. Yeah, I might do that. I might just go ahead and do that in the updated core rules for clarity. You probably have to be like toward the back of the book, just in like the technical section. Because we're gonna have to. Yeah, check it out. Okay, so guys, let's talk about. So I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback about the Revenant once you guys get a chance to think on it and play test it and all that sort of stuff. I will definitely keep developing it. Let's talk about the core rules, you guys. And to start, I want to share something from the Geek Man Cave. That this was a very, very interesting feedback that he gave me on the updated armor rules, which I'm very excited about. Could be that you're actually playing a magical sentient weapon. Yeah, like all of those are really cool ideas. They want all monster attacks to have a type listed. Oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I have to get ready. Some listing all damage types on monster attacks. Anytime it's in question, it'll be listed. But like if they have a bow, it's dealing piercing damage. If they have a sword, it's not dealing bludgeoning damage. It's not dealing lightning damage. So I think that kind of extraneous thing, like, oh, it moves 6. Well, how does it move? Well, with its little leggies, So that is my philosophy on that. I don't want to say obvious or redundant information. Oh, it can see. Well, how does it see? With its eyeballs. Well, how? Be more specific. Like, no, I don't want to. I think that's not needed. And not only is it not needed, it's actively harmful as you're trying to play a game. All this information getting in the way. So damage types. If it's a null, slashing damage. It's got claws or biting damage. It doesn't really matter. For the time that it does matter, it says it. Is there a sneak peek of the current design of all the deluxe all-in set on Discord? Just the mock-ups that are on the Kickstarter page, but I am continually getting in more and more art for all of that, and I should have some cool mock-ups and stuff, and even some printed versions here pretty soon. So the printing company, they do, of course, offset, high quality offset printing, but they also do like digital proofs just so I can like see them and check them for type of stuff. So I'm gonna have some actual physical proofs in, hopefully, relatively soon. Deadly. Yep. All right. Okay. So let's talk about this. So this is from one of the people who did playtesting for the core rules armor updates, and this is the same. So if this guy was an outlier, I would say okay, we'll rethink about it. But I'm getting the same feedback from, I think, actually everybody who has told me that they actually playtested it, which is very, very good. It's very, very encouraging. So he says, I've been playing various TTRPGs for over a decade and serve as a director for community society, running games for all ages at a local library, run multiple personal tables. Okay, he's got a lot of experience. Role-playing games are about giving players unforgettable, epic experience and allowing them to tell engaging stories. This narrative freedom is exactly why I fell in love with Nimble. Thank you. Critiques of the legacy system. On paper, Nimble's original armor system was brilliantly designed. I thought so. Treating armor as a true reduction mechanic rather than an abstract hit or miss threshold like traditional 5e. Agreed. Makes it generally feel like protective gear. However, and this was a big however, player feedback and playtesting revealed that it frequently slows down combat into a slog unintentionally. And again, it wasn't for every table, but it was for some tables and enough tables to where I wanted to see if we could fix that. If we can have all the juice without the squeeze. It forces extra mental maths onto the players who must constantly ask, do I add a modifier here? Do we round up or down? So this is just exceptions. Anytime there's an exception, people have to like sort of stop and like undo or redo or think, or they will make mistakes and there's back and forth and there's clarifications. So if every attack, you just always add the modifiers, you just always do the same thing for every attack, then you everything just goes way more smoothly. But if most attacks you do this, but other attacks you do that, and other attacks you do this other thing, then it just becomes harder. It just there's friction is what I call it, friction. Okay. Furthermore, I dislike the above the table style of openly revealing monster stats or armor values before players have interacted with the creature. It does say to do this in cool rules, and some people like it, some people don't, and this is definitely a fair enough opinion. Information should be conveyed organically through narration and story rather than feeling like a video game with a floating UI icon. Fair enough. Instead of telling my players, this guy has heavy armor, so just have your damage, I want a narrative to guide them. Okay, yeah. The heavy metallic clink of your great sword completely skids off the ogre's iron carapace. Iron armor, dealing only X damage. Yes. This prompts players to look at each other and realize, okay, our normal weapons aren't biting through this plating. We need to shift focus. Previous homebrew attempts. So this was an issue that was big enough for this guy to want to homebrew a situation, homebrew a fix. So anytime you're homebrewing something, in my eyes, you're homebrewing to fill a pothole in a system. And if we just fix that pothole in the system, then people don't need to homebrew it. They still can if they want to, but they won't feel like they have to. Originally tried a dynamic approach, medium armor having damage, and then heavy armor at quartering. Yep. But having and then having again is challenging. 7 damage. All right. How are you gonna have that? And then how are you gonna have it twice? You can do it, but there's gonna be questions. The bloody mechanic. Tried mid-fight drama, a bloody boss would shed their heavy plates, dropping their very okay. That's cool. This hit the perfect narrative note. The calculations slowed the game down almost as much as the official rule. Yeah, I believe that. Shifting mass behind the GM screen helped take off the players, but calculating large fractions on large odd-numbered damage totals mid-combat added unnecessary time. Designed to a system designed to be fast. Yes. That's why I believe arguments for using disadvantage or having fail, they either add more dice for players to calculate or create awkward maths when a GM is already managing 100 other narrative beats. Yeah, so medium armor having and then heavy armor having and rolling with disadvantage means that you say, okay, I roll, oh, I got this. Oh, you have to roll with disadvantage. Okay, so let me just sort of show you how that works. Like how that works and how it can come up with some questions after the fact. So let's just get our d6s. So like let's say we got like a 6, a 3, and a 4, and then I roll a 1. Okay, so I roll a 1, but I roll it here or I roll it here, right? So like if I crit, then like when I roll the extra die, like when you go to roll the extra die, then am I gonna like if I roll it on this side, is that cheating? Or if I roll it on this side, am I like unnecessarily hampering myself? So there's weirdnesses that happen that happen with it. Yeah, so that is an inelegant an inelegant solution. Without knowing their exact modifiers or buffs behind the screen, combat became a clunky back and forth. Okay, half of 13 is 6.5. Do you round down? Wait, what's your modifier again? This friction choked out the snappy pacing that defines. Oh, yeah. New approach, flat sponge armor. I don't know if I would call it flat sponge armor, but that's what he calls it. We must understand, to redesign armor, we have to understand its fictional and mechanical purpose. Rather than an abstract wall number you must match to land a hit, like 5e, armor should act like a sponge, physically absorbing and mitigating an amount of, I would say, deflecting, rather than absorbing, but same idea, and some amount of incoming damage. Medium armor, -5. Heavy armor, -10. There you go, easy. This design shifts 100% of the tracking burden behind the GM screen. Players do not need to calculate anything, or check modifiers mid-swing, or recalculate, or change their processes. They just do the thing they always do. They can change their tactics, but when you're saying 7, I know what that means. They simply roll the dice, shout out the thing, and the game just keeps moving. That's what we want. I like that he shared his initial concerns and questions. So when Evan first discussed moving to a flat system, I shared the community's immediate concerns. Early play versus high tier play. Will a flat -10 make the early game punishingly difficult for lower level classes or characters who rely on multiple smaller attacks? Conversely, will it become mathematically irrelevant at high tiers when player damage scales exponentially? Yeah, the thing is, damage does not scale exponentially. Damage and hit points and stuff scale very linearly. So 10 always matters. Is the long and the short of it. Okay, let's keep reading. The extra attack dilemma: a stacking disadvantage cannot trigger a critical hit or generate enough damage to break the flat threshold. Is there any mechanical point in attacking second or third time? This recreates the disappointing 5e loop of that's a miss, end of turn. Okay. How can a tiny low-level kobold clinger wear scrap metal share the exact same -10 reduction as a massive ancient red dragon with iron hard scales? So what I would say, that I think this is, I get the point that he's making, like he's being extreme, but what I would say, a tiny low-level clinger, he's not wearing scrap metal, he's wearing like a full cauldron on his body. Okay, if you stab the cauldron, it's not going to deal any damage. And that is how I would imagine like a dragon's scales. They would be as strong as iron. Does Kobold Klinger have heavy armor? I think they have heavy armor. So yeah, that makes that does make perfect sense in my mind. It's not that if you're wearing like little metal scraps, maybe it'd be medium armor. Yeah, Kobold Klinger has heavy armor. So I don't think it breaks the internal logic of the world. Also, like if you get one attack on the Kobold Klinger that mitigates its armor, that ignores its armor, the thing dies. If you have one attack against a dragon that ignores its armor, like it takes a little bit more damage, but the dragon's gonna be fine. So the armor just reduces some amount of damage. Cheat code trap. Will flat reduction create an absolute metagame where every player chooses the cheat? Yep. Okay, so to stress test, he ran sessions across different tiers of play, and I think there's an update, a part 2 of this with an even a higher tiered thing. Play test different things. Goblins, bugbears, blah, 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 blah. Okay, summary. So here's the results. The battle flowed beautifully. Goblins were cleared quickly to keep the battlefield dynamic. The bugbears felt sturdy without becoming frustrating. They had medium armor. And the heavy-plated troll immediately felt terrifying. Very narratively pleasing to insert Lord of the Rings music. Because Nimble features the miss on the lowest numbers, players always expect to deal damage unless they roll a 1, even if it's heavily armored. Describing their attacks as bouncing off the troll's plating created a genuine sense of fear. But it prompted tactical curiosity rather than player frustration. Critical hits felt massive. So this is the point. This is the point. Why not just give more hit points? Because that just increases everything flatly. But you don't just want to inflate the balloon. You want to change the shape of combat. These weapons look like this against this kind of monster, and these abilities look like that, and like they have different abilities and power levels depending on what you're fighting, so that your tactics change. Because if there's always one best thing to do, then you always do that, and then it's not a game any longer. Okay. Critical hits felt massive, and support and positioning became vital. The encounter forced tactical adaptation without stalling the game for calculations, or I will just throw 3 actions on the attack next round. If you ever played Nimble, you understand the awesomeness of how weapons feel different thanks to them aligning with different die sizes. This drastically increased the crit chance across all die. My players crit a lot. Cool, like that. That's a lot of fun. Berserker felt incredibly strong against medium armor, highly effective against heavy. Large bursts, large burst hits naturally bypass flat reduction, and Fear Dice felt excellent for pushing damage past the threshold. Also felt incredibly Hulk-like, sweeping unarmored foes like nothing. Awesome. The cheat. Undisputed MVP against the trolls. Yeah. Critical hits bypassing armor offered a massive emotional payoff, naturally positioning the class as a monster execution specialist. However, when the cheat did get hurt, it hurt. The glass cannon fantasy of delivering a precise strike a slipping away felt incredibly earned. There you go. So this is exactly the fantasies that I want to be hitting with these two. So we were highly valuable. Because raw damage was suppressed by armor, support, setup, and positioning mattered far more. Vicious Mockery, there we go, proved to be an excellent tool against armored foes, against armored targets. A tactic I hadn't seen used in over 50 previous sessions with the system. No love for some. Yeah, so when armor matters more than the things that ignore armor, Vicious Mockery matter a lot more too. This class serves the most important edge case of new rules. He just had a question, I think, and I clarified that. It functions brilliantly if link damage is treated as a single pool damage packet before armor is reduction. That is the case. So if you have three, if you have one, get out of here. So if you have one d12. If you have one minion and he attacks, he deals 5 damage. Medium armor, heavy armor, he does 0. If you have 2 minions, they both roll a 9 and a 7. It's going to be 16 damage, buddy. So he would take 6 damage if he had heavy armor. If you have 3 minions, so like the more minions you have, the better they are at. And again, 17 damage. So the better they are communally at dealing with this. So the GM is incentivized to attack maybe 1 or 2 of them, and maybe not like spend all their actions killing all of them. This is perfectly exactly what I would want to happen. So yes, the minions do indeed work that way. You treat their attacks as if they were a single attack. However, entice, because that ignores armor. Ganger's burst in unspeakable word, ignore armor. Yes. Realizing his raw magic was penetrating, the Shadow Master creatively commanded his minions to grapple the troll. Oh, that's funny. And grant the rest of the party advantage. I allowed it, rolling flat d20 and adding 1 for each minion. Is that's funny. All the minions are grappling this little boy, this troll. That's funny. Tier 2, General Flameheart. Swarm of Beasts, Swarm of Bonfire Beetles. I love the monsters that have synergy. Yes. Draft Monsters More book. This served as an excellent stress test for the overhaul, punishing boss action economy, heavy armor scaling, battlefield denial, and monster synergy. So, long story short, fight worked incredibly well. Really liked it. Final conclusions. Like he really liked it. It's doing all of the things that I want it to do. Is basically so. It's not that like a few people like it. It's everybody so far who has play tested it gets it. And because it's something that sounds simple, but isn't actually simple, people say, oh, here's all these problems with it, that I can think of, and like, why don't we do this instead? It is subtly very complex, subtly very there's a lot going on there. Hey, they got AI now. Revenant is so cool. Yeah. I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of new classes, but I'm glad you like that. At least there's going to be some subclasses coming for it. If dice are rolled in succession, unless using a dice tower, the first die roll is permanent. Okay. You don't like the menu change, it makes the game less interesting for trivial amounts of save time. I mean, you could definitely homebrew that, but it is answering an edge case that needed to be answered. Just minions having advantage or disadvantage, like they're just a group of dudes and they're just all attacking at once. It does simplify that a lot. But you just do whatever else you're doing before that. It's certainly not going to break anything. What if we fix our making player have to beat a certain DC to hit for about? Yeah. Okay. So that is the monster armor. I'm leaning toward. This is going to replace the. I'm leaning heavily toward the test rule, replacing the initial rule, and then the legacy rule is going to be. Hey, Angela. The new rule is going to be the first printing rule is going to be the legacy rule just in the back of the book, if anybody just wants to keep playing that way. But again, if the armor rules were this to start, then I think 0 people would be interested in changing it. That is what I think. Okay, so I think I wanted to look at. I've got a few minutes before I've got to go to a meeting. Let's take a look at. I don't know if Edward's still here, but I was going to look at the feedback document. I was going to look at the feedback document. Let me see if there's any. So a few people in the community have been collating and categorizing the feedback. It could, but it also so yes. It does do that, but what is the benefit also? So yeah, I would think of like both sides of the equation. The alternative is like when minions have advantage, increment their die size 1, and then with disadvantage, decrement their die size. But then like it does lead to really strange things happening at the table, and not for not much improvement. So the additional time that it takes, like I always have, D12s because I'm a Shadowmancer. Well, now I have to have D10s also, and I have to remember when to roll which. And then, well, what if they have advantage when they have D12s? Do I roll a D20? No, that seems too good. And now I have to like rebalance everything, and like there's some weird fiddly things happening there. And so some of the other options that we had would just like artificially make things take way longer. They can attack different targets, but if all 3 minions are attacking one target, then you just roll all 3 dice and treat it as a single attack. Okay, so is there? So this is monsters, adventures, rules, skill challenges. Put a. Is there anything for the core rules? Core rules. Here we go. Is there a max number of free actions in a hero turn? The blurb of hero action. Let me zoom in for you guys. View. Simple tasks we do once per turn. Is a limit on the tasks themselves or the number of free actions? I think I'm okay with like that level of ambiguity. Because if I say, oh, you can do X number of free actions per turn, then someone is going to like want to like they will break the fantasy by doing this. Or if I say you only do one, then like I can't drop this and yell at the same time. Like, no, yeah, you could do that. So like because you have a GM who can adjudicate these things, like, all right, I want to drop this key and yell at the same time. Yeah, you could do that. I want to drop this key, yell, and then kick the key to someone else while I open the door. Like, no, you like pick one of those. Come on, man. Yeah, so I don't know that needs to be clarified. And I'm going to request edit access. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. Clarification. How do DXX spells work with create an opening? Great question. Let's see. I think those are just not affected by advantage or disadvantage. Let's read it though. Create opening. Increase the next primary die roll against a target by 1 this round. So if someone assesses and they create an opening, and then you make an attack that doesn't have a primary die, like an AoE attack, then the next attack that has a primary die would be buffed by that. But I don't think the way it's worded, there's no primary die there, so it doesn't crit, it doesn't miss. There's not a primary die. So I think that's what I would that's how I would rule that. Yeah. Up to the GM. Yep. Yep. Null or negative key stats break characters. It should be very clear that both stats require a positive number to make the class work. I got a new player that wanted to fit a different fantasy. Buff Stormshifter, realized. Is it not? Is it not? Let's see. Two key stats crucial to the class and two secondary stats. Let's see. Let's go down to character creation. Recommended, place the highest numbers in the key stats for your class. I don't know. I feel like that's probably clear enough. If you guys have any specific feedback on how to make it more clear, then maybe we can do that. Insert view. Zoom. Here, zoom. Zoom, zoom. You guys remember those Mazda commercials? Hey, Tail Dog. Yeah, the Revenant is up in the Dropbox folder. It could. Yeah, it could. Just add one. Work on formulas and mechanics under the hood of a war game I've been overhauling. Do you recommend any sources that discuss recommendations, blind spots, etc. for formula design under the hood? So if it's a tabletop war game and not if it's a computer game, all bets are off. You just have a computer calculate. But if it is a physical game that has to happen at a table, play a lot of those games and see where the frustrations are. Like, man, his turn takes 5 minutes when it could just take 1. Right, then fix those things is what I would do. So I would read through the creator's kit. The creator's kit has all of my best advice on that right now. Like maintain the flow, clear and concise writing. Fewer steps is better. Just let it happen rather than like rolling to see if you can roll to. Make a lot of spreadsheets. I would definitely make a lot of spreadsheets and do a lot of playtesting. So maybe this could be a. This has an FAQ here. FAQ. Doop. Boop. There we go. Perfect. This one. Null or negative key sets. I think we have that taken care of already. And there's going to be pre-made characters also that have the stats in the right area, so that should help some of these things. New armor rule, create null actions where I'm not a fan of. We're going to try a new system next session. Sort of it does. So it doesn't create a null action. So if you're talking about like when you first find out that this thing is heavily armored. So I think it should typically be fairly obvious. It should be obvious when a monster is armored or not, so that heroes can take action. But preparing to make so attacking and failing is a null action, yes. But the idea is that you can change your tactics so that you are less likely to attack and fail. You can prepare to attack, set up a good opportunity, and then attack. So it just changes the shape of your actions rather than how often they fail. Is what I would say. So I would think about that just a little bit. I think that should fix it. Um, it doesn't great it it's all much more subtle than you would initially think just by looking at it. It plays very, very differently when you actually play it. So, Hilltop, 440k. Okay. Yeah, so for that, I would definitely look at some of the more modern games that I think the StarCraft war game now has a really cool system where like if you start losing some units, like you get this other thing that's sort of like um, self balances rather than death spiraling. Like you go first, I kill one or two of your units, or I go first, I kill some of your units, and like it just snowballs. So that kind of thing is unfun. So avoid any mechanics that like tend toward a death spiral. Um, do positive reinforcement things rather than negative reinforcement loops. Negative feedback loops. Um, but as much as you can, have have it super clear when something happens. Have it very, very clear when something happens. So if you can get away with not having to roll like a bajillion dice and then like pick out all the d6s and then like just a lot of the little fiddly things that you have to do with some of these wargaming things, like having to measure every single little unit and all this sort of stuff. I think StarCraft has done a very, very good job. What little I know about it, I think is they've done a lot to fix some of the things. I played what was it? Some Warhammer thing. I don't know where it is. Here it is. Age of Sigmar. I played this beginner set, and like the first time I played like their little setup tutorial, it was pretty cool. And the second time it was like it felt incredibly fiddly. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember the mechanics exactly, but like I immediately started thinking of like, oh yeah, if I was designing this, I would change this and this and this and this. And this. Cool. Yep. Awesome. There will be actions that do nothing if you're crit farming from. So it's not just crits, but it's rather than attack, attack, attack. It's like I'm going to pick abilities or use things that like I'm going to cast a leveled spell or a tiered spell rather than just 3 cantrips because that will automatically just deal more damage per action, and it'll be reduced by 10 instead of 20 or reduced by 5 instead of 10. So it's really try it out before you make up your mind, and that's what I'll say. So and if you hate it, just you keep using it how it is. I do like it how it is. That's why I design it how it is. I could, but it wouldn't have to. Berserker wouldn't have to. It would depend on like which Savage Arsenal abilities that the Berserker had, um, and a lot of people just wouldn't care. They have enough Fury dice. They'll just keep they're okay just subtracting 10 from each of their attacks as long as you're dealing some damage, and that's fine. A lot of people would be fine with that. But the people who want to deal the most damage, who want to be the most tactically aware and do this and this, then they will start doing other things to increase their damage. They might have to start using teamwork and tactics. One space should be at least 1.5 meters. One space equals 5 feet. Equals 1 meter per scale. I think I'm just gonna remove the meters. Where do we have meters? Spaces. It's on our spaces and stuff, isn't it? Let's see what we have. Meters, man, meters. I prefer centimeters and millimeters to where's I got this little tape measure, and it has inches and centimeters on it, which I really like. I prefer it. It's that's easier than like 31/32 of an inch. Like it's just easier to say like 2.21 centimeters. Um, what if we just said this? 1 to 2 meters each. You could just pick. Each hex or space is roughly 5 feet or 1 to 2 meters. Is that terrible to do? Maybe that's okay to do. As you guys are reviewing this, let me know what you think about that. It's particularly with falling. Maybe the spaces should just be. So for me, falling is important to be in feet because, like when you're playing, like there's this building up here, and all right, I want to climb to the top of it. Oh, sure, it's 30 feet high. I know roughly how tall that is. That's like a 2-story building. It's like 30 feet or 20 feet high. But if I say, oh, it's 3 spaces high, what? That doesn't make as much sense. So I think falling should be 1 to 2 is more awkward. No, 1.5, yeah, maybe. Metric gang. Um, So for me, like when you're describing how high something is, you're at the edge of a cliff and it is 100 feet down. You wouldn't say it is 20 spaces down, right? 1 to 2 is horribly imprecise. You guys don't like 1 to 2? You think 1.5 is better? Let me check my tape measure. Oh, meter is a lot. Where is it? It's not a meter, is it? Okay, so 1 meter is like 3 feet, 3 feet 3 inches. Then 2 meters, 160. Okay, so 2 meters is like 6 feet, 5 feet, 150. Yeah, it is like exactly 1.5. All right, we'll put 1.5. 1.5. There you go. Meter and a half. To me, that feels more awkward, but it is more exact. 1.5 is almost exactly 5. Okay. Yeah, but like 1 space being 1 meter, like is good. Like we're being a bit silly, I think. This is so silly. Like what 1 space being 1 meter like is. Oh man, I think I hate that. I think I hate that. What 1 space? Like what's your speed? 6. What does that mean? I can move 6 meters on my turn. Like that feels correct. That feels good. Right? How much is a meter? A meter is like 3.5 feet almost. My speed is 6. Well, what does that mean? Well, if I multiply that, 9 meters? Is that 9 meters? If I multiply that times, 1.5, then I'll get my how far I can move. I don't know, you guys. There's entries about falling damage working differently when using 5 feet equals 1 meter. I'm pretty sure Europeans read 5-foot squares all the time, convert them to 2 meters. Yeah, I would rather do 2 than 1.5. 2 meters, that's like 6 feet, right? That's like your arm span. That's fine. I think 2 meters is better. So you just double it. 6 spaces, 12 meters. I'm okay with that. I am okay. I am okay with that. So we would say 10 feet or 4 meters? I'll let people convert that. I think 0.2 is such a big difference. It's only a difference in 3 feet. You guys. Yeah, I think I'm okay with 2. If you guys hate 1, yeah. If you guys hate 1, oh, 1.0. Yeah, that is what. Yeah, and that is so many so many football fields long. No, like I would just as soon. Do you know what? I think this might just be the solution, just 5 feet, because that is just the standard. And then for like the different localizations, like different companies doing localizations, they can just say 2 meters. I think we're gonna do that. I think we're just gonna say 5 feet, and we're just not gonna meter. I think out of all the options so far, it's that is better. Yeah, but nobody in the U.S. knows what a yard is really. Could use yard instead of 5 feet. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a good example of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I wouldn't want to undermine everybody who has played RPGs knowledge of a space is 5 feet, right? So like when possible, use the existing framework of things, and where it's not possible, tweak it, or where it would make an improvement to change it, change it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's ever distance to fall damage. Yeah, it can't hurt me if I don't know how far it is. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to say that like, oh, you fell 5 spaces, because that's too abstract. But like for someone, I know, because like there's this narrative that's happening in your head, and then there's like the things on the table. So there's this weird space for falling damage that I think has to remain weird in order for it to make sense. I'm open to ideas. Yeah, to me that made the most sense, but people didn't like it apparently. You have to be a little bit more specific of what it also is. .0.083 football fields per second. can't please everybody. But it's not a bad idea to make it as clear as possible for everybody, even if it's like their second choice. Like I'd be fine using meters. Use feet for distance, but also metric. Yeah, if it only says one thing, then people can choose 1 meter, 1.5, 2 meters. They could just choose whichever thing that makes most sense to them because that's what they'd be doing anyway. But there are companies that are working on localizing, and they'll just put it in there. Oh, that's not a bad idea. 10 feet, 3 meters. Yeah, that's fine, I think. 3, 6, 9, 12. Um. Mhm. Okay. Stones. 1 yard equals me. Yeah, but people in America don't know what yards are. What's a yard? Like my house has a yard, a front yard and a backyard. What's a yard? You stand at the edge of a cliff and it's easily 12 yards high. That doesn't seem very far. Oh, you jump off it. You die. What? Yeah. Like I wouldn't mind just overhauling this altogether. Okay, so let me tell you guys a couple of areas that I wouldn't mind overhauling. I wouldn't mind overhauling falling and forced movement. It's a bit awkward. I wouldn't mind overhauling concentration a bit. I think it's fine, but like just concentration as a concept is a little bit weird. But also cover and hiding. I think cover is fine. I think we did streamline cover well enough. But hiding in combat is something that I want to fix a little bit, as well as grass. So like this whole section here, I would like to give it a once over. So this whole section, I would love to give it a once over. Yeah. How fast in knots can I move? Small yards, tiny cuts of big feet. Yeah. I think not. I'm open. Emma, I'm open to it, but like, what if we just made everything more abstract? Like, I've got to go in just a few minutes, but often play is done. Do you guys tell me what you think about this? Often play is done on a grid with 1 inch squares or hexagons representing roughly the amount of space an average human's arm, like the average arm span of a human. We just do arm spans and just make everybody unhappy. Oh, I do have this. I need to fix that with the size. Yeah, they go good old bald eagles. Yeah. What's your biggest problem with adding meters in speed and range? Yeah, yards in football. Yeah, what kind of grid do Europeans use? You guys don't use 1-inch squares. What would you use? Would you use like 2.5 centimeter square grid? 1 meter equals 1 space. Yeah, 1 meter, 1 space like felt great. Like it makes everything like a little bit smaller, which is fine. One space equal to the distance that feels appropriate for a human. Yeah. You use 2.5 centimeter grids. Yeah, you guys are just used to the weird decimals then. Stupid as talk. So what do you guys think about this? Like something like, so like for the sizes, like small could be carried in a backpack, tiny it could be carried in a pocket, medium is the average person size. So rather than speaking in like these kinds of concrete terms, it's, or rather than like these abstract like imperial unit terms, it's speaking in concrete fantasy terms. What if we did that? What if we did that? What do you guys think? That does make it more consistent with this. Yeah, it was, and like it's sort of half measures right now. I'd like to. Oh no, okay. Okay. All right. I've got 5 minutes before I gotta go. I've got another meeting that I gotta hop into. Yeah, Disney uses feet only. That's fine. Can we make it better? The Woodlove that gives it medieval fantasy vibe. So Nerd likes this. Nerd Captain. It took me a while to read that. Use meters and yards. I think we could still just say like like if you fall like more than your height. I'm not sure yet. One step at a time. One step at a time. Yeah, would try, yeah. Do it because isn't there just something that works for everybody and nobody will complain? So that would be 4 meters. 10 feet to 2 meters. 3 point. Yeah, it's a lot closer to 3 than it is to 4. I hate this. I hate that this isn't this is my Kobayashi Maru. I mean, if you Euros are like, I hope that's not offensive. But if you foreigners, and that's probably more offensive. If people who use the sensical measurement system of a metric are used to 2.5 centimeter grids, then I think maybe 1.5 meters is fine. I hate it though. So that would be 1.5. Wait. 1.5 times 4. So you have to fall 6 meters? So it's not 3 meters, it's 6 meters. What? No. 1.5. So like the conversion is breaking my brain. Okay, times 2. Yeah. Okay, so 10 feet, 3 meters. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I like it. I'm gonna have to think about this, guys. I'm gonna have to think about this. um, it feels worse for the people who need it. All right. That's a good place to end it, you guys. I've got to hop to another meeting. Yeah. Um, I hoped we would get so I might hop on a little bit later after the meeting and keep cooking. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. I think we made some great progress on the Revenant. Looking forward for your feedback there, questions and feedback. I think I'm gonna overhaul this whole page in light of some of the tweaks to the size. So I'm gonna overhaul this whole page. We'll keep cooking. We'll get there. We'll make it better. Don't you worry. Precise measure zone. Yeah. All right. God bless everybody.